With all the fun accessories out there, don't be afraid to embellish your little black dress with belts, beads, trim, anything like that. Hello, this is Angela Wolf, fashion designer and online instructor, and we are back to the little black dress. Another technique for the neckline. I'm going to show you how to add lining. A lot of times we add lining and it's attached to the facing like we did in the last lesson. But what about if you have a really light fabric or you don't want that facing to show through? Just take a look at this dress here. I attached the lining right to the fabric. There's no facing here. You're probably thinking, how does that work? Especially with the curve of the neckline, because here, this is the same cut of that dress. The curve of the neckline stretches because that's bias. So there's a trick you have to do here, but this is so easy. So if you get really frustrated with facings or you have a lighter fabric, this is a great way. If you need to add lining, just cut the lining the same exact way as your pattern. Just trim 1/8 of an inch along the neckline and the armholes and you're good to go. So here I have my lining and my dress just like this, and I'm going to go to the sewing machine. And I'm going to stitch. It doesn't matter which one's on top, which one's on bottom, but I'm going to stitch with the blue side up, or this purple so you can see. I'm going to stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. In case you've missed the last few lessons, I trim all of my curved necklines to 1/4 of an inch because it's easier to stitch around. And then you don't have to trim or put little snips inside to make it turn. Just stitch all the way around here. I'm just using a basic 2.5 stitch. You can use whatever you need for your fabric. It's just a basic stitch. Now your pattern might call for what they call stay stitching, and that would be just stitching, which helps to stabilize your neckline, but it's not enough for this lining technique. So I've attached the lining. Now I'm going to take, remember from before, twill tape. Start, if this is the center back, so this would be where your zipper is, right here. You don't need to start that close. Just start about right, halfway, maybe like 2 inches away from that back. I'm using a mini neckline here so I can get to this whole lesson for you. Attach the twill tape. Again, the technique is not so much about pinning it, but to hold that twill tape like this and allow the fabric to feed through. Got a little messy there. Go all the way around. Again, stopping about 2 inches from the end. So now I have twill tape and I have lining. I've already finished that with this sample here. I'm going to show you, this one was one that was enclosed all the way, which I wanted to show you that as well. All I did was take this twill tape all the way around. There's the lining, like this, and flip this in. Flip your lining inside. Now, if you're going to line the armholes as well, you're going to do the neckline first, because you can't just stitch the neckline and then stitch the armholes, because you can't turn it back inside out. So here we go. I'm going to go press this. See how it kind of puckers a little bit? We want all of that lining and the seam to fold to the back. I'm pressing from the front because I just want to make sure that I can't see it. You don't want the lining popping out. Again, pushing it to the back just slightly. All the way around. But we're not quite finished yet. We have to do one more step here. There, that looks pretty good. That just gives it a little push to the back for when you start stitching again. Whoops. We're going back to the sewing machine. I'm going to slide this under, and here I have the lining, and if you watch the V-neck neckline, this is very similar. All of the facing underneath here is pushed towards the lining side. I'm just going to do a little segment here so you can see this. I'm going to stitch 1/8 of an inch from the edge of this seam. Okay, we're going to stitch all the way around Or if you're doing just like a back zipper like that last sample I showed you, let me get this out of the way so you can see. Just go a little bit further on here. So this is what you end up with. You've got this stitching along the lining, and when this folds to the back, I'm going to press this again, but look at how nice this lays. You can't see it. The whole key is that the lining pushes to the back, and that stay tape makes that happen. Just like along this edge. The lining is this far from the edge. So that is how easy it is to add lining to any dress that you have, even if it doesn't have a pattern for it.